All right, as you can see, I pressed stop and not pause again. So, starting a new section here. We're gonna cook down the tomato sauce for the enchiladas, the tomatoes and peppers. We're gonna put on a medium heat. If you got a nice large Dutch oven like this, cast iron enamel, any heavy bottom pot will do. We're gonna use a tablespoon and a half of oil or so. Just enough to coat the bottom of the pan, really. Once that comes up to temperature a little bit, we've got our onions. We have our chicken broth. And we have our tomato base. Hopefully you saw that. Okay. So, once it's in there, we're going to throw in our onions. We're going to cook those for about 5 to 7 minutes. And as we cook, we're always seasoning. Just a little bit of pinch of salt. A couple grinds of pepper. And what that does is create layers of flavor, which in cooking, it's all about layering the flavors, getting the most out of the products that you're using. So, right, so we're going to cook this. This is over a medium heat. And so it's going, I don't know if you can hear it sizzling a little bit. So you don't really want them to brown too fast. So don't have it on too high of a heat. We want these to kind of get translucent, soften up. We do want a little bit of a color to them, kind of a golden once they're done after about 5 minutes. And then after that 5 minutes, we're going to add in our tomato base. So I'll be back when the onions are cooked. Okay, we're back. It's probably been about 5 minutes or so. You might not be able to see it on the screen, but the onions are just starting to get a little color to them, a little brown. They're nice and soft, translucent. And this is at the point, like I said, we don't want to get them too brown. We just want them to start getting a little color to them. We're going to add in the tomatoes and the pepper mixture. Okay. That we're going to let come up to a boil. We're going to actually turn up the heat to like a medium high. Okay. And really get this thing boiling. What we want to do is cook this tomato base down to almost like a tomato paste consistency. So you want it to get really thick. It'll darken up a little bit. And get just kind of a little concentrated. So let it cook, let it bubble away, let it reduce. Like I said, so just about, as you can see, this one's already coming up to a boil. Probably about 7 minutes. Once it starts thickening up, it's going to start getting a little messy around your kitchen, around the stove, because it does boil away pretty good. So we're going to let this go. We'll be back, and I'll kind of show you the consistency we're looking for. All right, it's been probably about 5 minutes or so. As you can see, this thing is really boiling away. It's gotten really super thick. Just a really thick sauce, you know. So what we're going to do now, we're going to lower the heat back down a little bit, and we're going to add the chicken broth. It's 2/3 of a cup of chicken broth. Oh, I'm sorry. 2 cups of chicken broth. That was way off. Alright, and there's our 2 cups of chicken broth. Okay. We're gonna stir that around. Get it all nice and mixed together. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna simmer this for about 15 minutes. So once it comes up to a boil again, you can probably reduce it down to, I would say medium low. You just want it at a gentle simmer. And we're gonna cover it partially, and we'll see you back in about 15 minutes. Okay, and we're back. So it's been, like I said, about 15 minutes. Sauce is kind of reduced down a little bit more. So we can turn off the heat. And the consistency is kind of like a loose spaghetti sauce. You don't want it too thick. If it has gotten too thick, just add a little bit more broth. You kind of want it runny. Okay. So at this point, we can add in the crema, the half a cup of crema. And this will lighten up the sauce and give it a little creamy texture to it. And once that's all incorporated, what I'd like you to do is get a little spoon, give it a little taste. Careful not to burn yourself. Just so you can adjust the seasoning. If it needs a little salt, a little pepper. Just want to make sure it's well seasoned. So let's take a little look at that. Said I don't want to burn myself. I'm going to add just a tish more salt. Probably about, I don't know, a couple pinches, maybe a teaspoon, half a teaspoon at most. And just a little pepper. And that should be good. Okay. So, this is done. And you can just leave this on the stove. What we're going to do next is assemble the enchiladas. So I'm going to go shred the cheese and get a 9x13 baking pan and preheat the oven to 350, and we'll be back. Okay, at this point we are ready to assemble our enchiladas. So get yourself a 13x9 baking dish. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a cup of sauce on the bottom of it. Down just a little. There we go. Find what I did with my half cup measure. There it is. Bring our sauce over here. Just spread that around. And then we'll put this over here. And then one more thing, then you're going to want to warm, if you have bought corn tortillas from the store, you're going to want to warm them slightly in the oven. So what you do is just lay them on a sheet pan and throw them in the oven that's been preheating to 350. You can spray them with a little bit of cooking spray. Just put them in the oven for, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes, just so they're warm and become more pliable. And then you can take them out of the oven, stack them up in a clean dish towel, and then wrap that dish towel up real good so they keep warm, because it's much easier to roll the enchiladas with warmed tortillas. If you have made fresh corn tortillas, you should be fine, because they'll be plenty soft. Okay, Let's put these together. Okay, we're gonna put a half a cup of sauce into the chicken mixture. And we're gonna find our tongs. And we're just gonna mix that together. This is about 2 cups of shredded chicken. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we are going to, oh, 1 second. I'll be right back and we'll finish this up. Okay, we're back. So I'm gonna get my tortillas here. And it's probably going to be easiest to do this with your hands. Just grab a small portion. I would probably say I don't know, a good tablespoon or so, a couple tablespoons full of chicken. Throw it right in the middle there. Can you see that? And then all you're going to do is just roll them up like a cigar. Easy enough. And then you're just going to put them, line them up in the pan. If you can see the pan over there. Boom. And we're going to do that with all 12. Okay. I'll do another one. Again, don't overfill it because you want to have enough room to roll these. Okay. And we'll put that one right next to it. I'll be back after I roll them on. We'll show you how to finish it. Okay. Remember we have our 12 enchiladas, fill in the casserole dish here. What we're going to do here now is finish by just spreading the sauce evenly over the rest of the enchiladas. Just do it as evenly as you can. Should have enough to cover it all. Alright, there you go. And then the last part before popping it in the oven is going to be the cheese. And my recipe calls for about 2/3 of a cup of cheese. But I wouldn't blame anybody if they, use a little bit more than that. You definitely want these to be nice and cheesy. And cheese makes everything better, that's for sure. Okay. There we go. So into the oven for about 15 minutes. Once they come out of the oven, we'll plate them up and say goodbye. Okay. It's been about 15 minutes and took the enchiladas out of the oven. What I did after 15 minutes was turn on the broiler just real quick. Kind of got the cheese even a little extra bubbly and gooey. That's definitely just an option. But so let me show you how I plate this. I chopped a little bit of, or sliced a little bit of onion into rings, and then we have our cilantro. So let me get a spatula here, and these are definitely best served right out of the oven. So make sure everybody's ready, good, ready, and hungry. I would say probably 2 enchiladas per person are probably a good serving size. Getting any extra little sauce or cheese is always good to go on the side. And so then what I'm gonna do, throw a little bit of onion slices on top. And then just pick a little bit of cilantro as garnish. And there you have it. Chicken enchiladas. All right. So I hope everybody had a good time doing this. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Give me a text while you're doing it. But I hope you enjoy. And remember, for those of you who didn't help making the dinner, you're the ones that are going to have to clean up after. All right? Love y'all. See you later. Bye.